Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first edition of Talking Wrestling. And this is a series that, plain and simple, talk about wrestling with any guest or guest. And today, as as usual, is Gregory Kramer.
How are you?
And the first topic that I thought we should talk about is which is a bigger family tragedy, the Von Erich or Hart tragedy. So
Uh,
which so which one do you think is the bigger tragedy?
I think the Von Erichs.
I'll have to agree as well. Uh, Mainly because there was more of a tragedy with the Von Erich boys than the Hart family. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah.
Because it was with all the suicides or perhaps murders or and stuff like that. You have anything to add on that?
Yeah, the Von Erichs, they died at a young age. One was it died from a suicide, killing themselves and stuff outside the ring, and they were all like personal drug addicts.
And with the Harts, it was more like Brett with the Montreal screw job or the way Owen Hart has died.
Yeah.
And I'm not for sure about you, but for me, I hate the pay-per-view stipulation names like the very recent Extreme Rules or Hell in a Cell Extreme Rule or Elimination Chamber or pay-per-views like that. What do you think?
Uh, yeah, it wasn't really nothing horror about the Extreme Rules last week, but it was pretty dreadful to watch. And I'm a loyal WWE fan, loyal wrestling fan if it's bad, good, in the middle. But it was kind of dreadful.
Yeah, just from way I look at it, I think they should come up with original names, or even if they can't come up with original names, they should have bring back some of the older names from, no matter if it's from the WWE itself or from WCW or whatever, because you're basically having these matches for just the sake of having these matches,
Yeah.
basically. And I think you should have it if only when necessary.
Hmm.
Would you agree on that?
I agree 100%.
And it's the same thing with like any championships. They all look alike. So have uh why have each championship pretty well look alike? It's
Yeah.
like just look at like the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. They look alike, along with
Okay.
the along with the Raw SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They look alike,
Yeah.
and both single women's championships they look alike. Just the color's different.
Uh huh.
I think each title should have a title design or a specific title design.
Yeah.
Each title should have a different or a specific look to it.
Hmm.
There's anything you want to add with the title designs?
Yeah. It's the same thing. They need to change it up a bit. It looks the same, but a different color. And
Yeah,
it's kind of dumb.
and say it's the same thing with the name of the Universal Championship. It's dumb.
Yeah.
You couldn't bring back like the World Heavyweight Championship name, with the same design for it,
Uh huh.
because at least it'll be one to look. It will look different, and plus it'll be be a better name than Universal Championship.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the women's wrestling in particular? Do you think it's better for the women to where they are now, or do you think it and there's some things that could have from the way it used to be, it's better than what it is today.
I think they're doing great, the women's wrestling, because back in 2001 they only had like 10, 15 minutes, not even a match. It used to be like in and out, and I'm like, ooh, that's
Well, a lot of times, to your point, they only had like 7 minutes with entrances,
yeah,
and now they're getting like 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes with entrances.
yeah,
And really, I think they need to have give the women more of a more time to with that, at least on Raw or SmackDown and NXT really uh to wrestle, because if you with the matches is like it used to be with like 5 minutes
yeah.
with the match itself, and quite honestly that's like a disgrace of where women has become from what they used to be.
Uh huh.
Have you thought about anything you would like to talk about?
Yeah, a lot of people want the Attitude Era back, TV 14, but they really can't anymore because they can't really do the Attitude Era that much anymore. They have to make it PG 13 or PG. It has to be a family oriented, like a family show.
Well, I can understand that point, but if you think about it, they can try to do some risky things without pushing it too far.
Yeah,
Because if you think about it, they can, like for example, within like last, I think it was like a year or two ago with Alexa Bliss and Mandy Rose, for the Alexa Bliss that crew member walking in on Alexa Bliss without her top.
right. That was on Raw.
Yeah, and then on SmackDown they had Mandy Rose in lingerie.
Yeah,
I don't think that it's risky, but not so risky it's pushing it too much.
yeah,
They can still go to the TV 14 where it's kind of pushing it, but not too far.
yeah.
You know anything else you would like to talk about?
Um, yeah, they should make uh, DVDs again in general. A lot of people like getting the pay per views. Like I'm a big documentary fan. I missed the docs. The last doc they made was the Kevin Owens.
Well, in a way, I had to disagree with that, but but basically the True Blue documentary that was like straight to the DVD was the Kevin Owens, but I was talking about where in a way it was the documentary was the WWE 24 to the best of 2019.
Yeah,
In a way those are docs,
yeah,
but that's really the last kind of a doc on that was on DVD, but that they was on the network before it was on DVD.
yeah.
What do you think of like if Martha Hart would allow it a Owen Hart tribute show, but it's not any way connected to WWE at all?
I would watch it. They would talk about stories with Owen Hart and maybe special matches of him. But yeah, I would watch it.
So I would watch it too. It's just one, you had to try to get someone to to put on the show, and two, you had to get Martha Hart to allow it,
Yeah.
and to make sure that she knows this is not no way, shape, or form connected to the WWE.
Mhm.
And say, I think, and plus, I always thought about it. No matter if she likes it or not, or doesn't, I think the Hart family should be some way involved in the project. No matter if it's telling the stories or what have you. Even Martha could tell some Owen stories as well, along with Athena and Oj. But I do think a Owen Hart tribute show should be in the hat, at least when the pandemic slows down. Eventually, if Martha Hart would allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Is there any problems you think that's in wrestling right now?
Yes. There's no fans attending the shows. You're watching the 2-3 hours of wrestling without the fans. WWE needs us to get their get ticket sales. So if there's no ticket sales, they're not making any money.
Well, you can think about the ticket sales being the only way that they're making money, but they are making money though, because you have to think. You have to think of WWE Shop. People are going to WWE Shop, buying some merchandise from WWE Shop, so they are making some money, just not as much as they used to with the ticket sales.
Yeah.
What is there any other problems that you can think of that's in wrestling?
I think that's it.
And say for me, it's like blood. They don't have blood anymore.
No.
And say me, I think that's in with the pushing it a little bit is show some blood and stuff like that, because if you think about like a steel cage or Hell in a Cell match, you think you would want some blood. You expect it.
Yeah.
And you don't see that in a steel cage or Hell in a Cell match.
No, not at all.
Not anymore. Say the last match I can really think of that for a steel cage having blood, well, it had to be around 2008.
Yeah. After the whole Benoit death, they really
That's when the PGs really started, was after his death.
Yeah, I remember his death like it was yesterday. And
so do I.
And people were calling me like, "Are you watching it Raw?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, and my mom told me the next day how he died. I'm like, I said that can't be true, but now, 13 years later, it's the truth.
And say, I believe, to like Wrestling Rampage's credit, I believe the PG era would have still happened.
Yeah.
But I think Benoit kind of pushed it up a little bit. It happened sooner than what than originally planned.
If you watch documentaries, he was going to go to that pay-per-view the night before when he killed Nancy and Daniel. He was going to go and win the championship.
Let's say a lot of people would say that the PG era would have happened no matter what, with or without him that year. But I say it would have never happened until like 2009.
Yeah.
About 2 years later.
I agree.
But with him, with the whole tragedy, I think it pushed it up about a year.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, the PG era really started in 2008, about a year later after the tragedy, with when they start going to the LED.
Yeah.
So. And speaking of tragedies, do you think they should have stopped the Overedge 1999 pay-per-view after the Owen Hart tragedy?
Yes.
That's what I was talking about with DVD Freak after we made the wrestling trivia, that me and him both agree that that they should have stopped the show for respect for Owen and his family, along with, if you think about it, so the police can investigate sooner than what they could have, and really for our respect for the talent as well.
Yeah. I totally agree with you guys 100%.
Say, the only thing I can think of with that is it's kind of disrespectful for having all the talent to wrestle where he just basically died at.
Yeah, in the ring.
Yeah, and really it's disrespectful to Martha and then the rest of the Hart family because they just continue with the show instead of ending it.
Yeah.
And say, knowing how tragic that was, they should have just ended it.
Or at least postpone it and make it another day or another Sunday.
Like they did with the In Your House Beware of the Dog, where the lights went out.
Yeah.
Because you remember when they did the first one, the lights went out, and they had to go to a second one to because of that.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't even continue the show.
Yep.
Or they could have returned all the money to all the fans that bought a ticket, or perhaps what got it from pay-per-view. Because if you think about it, if they just redid it, then it would have all the fans and all the talent could get the Owen out of their head because of the name. Because of the name.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about like moves being overdone, like the Canadian Destroyer or the Super Kick?
Yeah, I think they copycat too much. It's like a song. People play the same songs over and over again. So it's a lot of people steal from their different moves and stuff.
Say, I think they should try to get their own stuff. And if they want to pay tribute to somebody, they fine, but don't use it in like every single match.
Yeah.
But don't continue doing it too many times in one match.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if you think about it with the order of wrestling, Shawn Michaels, for example, how many? Like he only used the Sweet Chin Music no more than 3-4 times during one match.
Yeah.
At the most. Like look at WrestleMania 24 with Ric Flair. He used it about maybe 3 times during the whole entire match.
Uh-huh.
So now it's appropriate. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I totally agree.
Say, they need to quit doing that, especially like for example the Young Bucks. And a lot of the big matches they use the Super Kick over and over and over too many times.
Yeah.
At least in the big matches, like pay-per-view matches, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going back to the or in a way going back to the stipulation pay-per-views, but I think the hardcore wrestling is kind of overdone because of the fact of the them having WWE having it like per one these matches like every year.
Yeah.
Because of them having the like Hell in a Cell, they're having the Hell in a Cell matches once a year, and that's too many times. So when necessary.
Yeah.
what do you think about managers coming back? Because if you think about, there are some managers coming back. Like, no matter if it's AEW, NXT.
Yeah. You need that sometimes in a match. Not every match. Maybe like one or three matches. But not, yeah. I see that.
And say, I think, maybe not in every match, but I think managers are a good thing. At least occasionally. Because managers can be helping, like some of the talent, like, for example, Bob Trashley. That's I like to call him Bobby Lashley.
Oh, yeah.
That cannot cut a decent promo.
No.
Say, one that doesn't really, or can't cut at least a decent promo, they need someone, like some type of mouthpiece to cut their promos for them.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if they had a manager, they can have them cut the promos for them while they stand there and have their mouth shut, kind of like Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
You have anything to add on that?
No, I'm good.
What do you think about the like the Celebrity Wing or the Warrior Award in the Hall of Fame?
I get what they're doing with the Warriors Award, the Hall of Fame. It's good. It's good, but it's not good.
Me, I don't think like celebrities or the Warrior Award should be in a wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And say if they want to start or give a reward to certain people with like what they are doing with the Warrior Award, then therefore do something like a side project.
Yeah.
Say, do you think the internet kind of ruined wrestling in a bit, or in a way?
Absolutely.
Say, for the way I look at it, it kind of the internet is given or gave fans like an inside scoop of what it's like behind the scenes, and that's not always a good thing.
When I was younger, there was no internet. We had to watch that next week and see what happened. Now, you can go on to WWE.com and see what happens.
And say, in a way, it's a good thing to find out. You can go to like the WWE's YouTube channel and find what happened last week.
Yeah.
In a way, that's kind of a good thing, because if you might have missed it, but given it like, if you think about it, fans wants to be too involved in wrestling.
Yeah.
And the internet is giving them a chance to be too involved in wrestling. When wrestling, way it used to be, was you watched it on TV and you had to wait until the next week to find out what happened. And with the internet right now, you can just go on Facebook or Twitter or WWE.com and find out what's going to happen next week.
Yeah.
Or and plus people's going to be have some spoilers going on, so and this kind of ruins the fun of trying to think about what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Is there any fantasy booking that you want you would like to see or like to do?
That's kind of a hard question.
Say for me, probably if I had to pick, get like two superstars in their prime, I can see maybe like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens. If you had taken and both of them in their prime, because if you think about Kevin Owens is doing the Stunner, so it can be the Battle of the Stunners. If they can build it as that, don't you think that would be a good match?
Yeah, that would be a great match.
Say you can also say like, I know he's in WWE right now, but I think a Rey Mysterio in his prime when he was a little bit younger, probably around 2006 or so, versus a Ricochet would be great.
Oh yeah, that would be an excellent match.
Guess we're going to end it there. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a big old thumbs up. Uh, and you and I really enjoyed doing this with you, Gregory.
Me too.
And you want to share your socials?
I'm on Facebook, Gregory Kramer. I'm on Twitter, The Real Gregory K. I'm on YouTube, Gregory Kramer, or G Kramer 123, and I'm on Instagram, Gregory Kramer 1.
And you can hit me up on Facebook, Donnie Langston, on Twitter at Donnie Langston 5, and on Instagram, Donnie Langston 5. Until next time, you'll see you guys next time.